Dear friends, dear Madam Deputy Prime Minister, Madam Undersecretary, distinguished guests, Madam Vice Minister, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to sit with some outstanding and inspiring women leaders and with all of you today in order to discuss the importance of women in governance, as well as in all areas of life. We all know too well that having women in leading roles means having better performing institutions, more hands-on policies, and increasingly more responsible and accountable governing practices. It is also a sign of a society's wisdom, its maturity, but most importantly, a sign of its vision. Because only with half of the society being rightfully represented at the decision-making table can the whole society thrive and succeed. In my inauguration speech as President of the Republic, I said that a girl belongs whatever she wants to be. She belongs whatever the dreams she dreams of and works hard for. And to me, this is not just a line. I am led and guided by this determination on a daily basis. And it's not just so because it sounds right. It is so because I truly believe that this is just and that it is right. All of us seated at this event want the very best for women and girls around the world, because we believe that a society that grants equal rights to girls and women, a society that treats women with dignity, a society that values their work and contribution equally as much as that of men, is the kind of society that will lead our world to new heights. We need to work hard for a world where history books write equally of men and women alike. A world where business meetings are chaired or co-chaired by women. A world where we fight the manels and embrace gender-balanced panels. A world in which news coverage spread the stories with women on focus. In essence, we still need to work hard for greater equality and more balanced and just representation of women at all levels. The patriarchy is a predominant root cause of the problem in our region. We navigate in a system of values where leadership, authority, as well as power are associated with men and masculinity. In most parts of the world, gender roles accepted by societies ascribe to the leadership of men, while women are portrayed and seen in rather supportive and caretaking roles. This kind of perception and portraying of gender roles has represented a direct challenge and impediment to so many women who wanted to be in politics and/or active and engaged in decision-making processes. Women's equal participation in governance, be that political, managerial, entrepreneurial, must be our everyday goal. I keep saying this over and over. It is not just the right thing to do. It is the smartest thing to do. Because women's perspectives, thoughts, as well as experiences enrich governance, and they make it more responsive to our everyday needs. Women's participation in politics help advance gender equality. It contributes to solution-driven policymaking and helps enhance the quality of life by meeting priorities of families, women and men, and the society at large. I am happy to share a positive picture of my country as we speak. From a war-torn country and a predominantly patriarchal society, Kosovo today stands out for the highest representation of women compared to previous years. 35% of MPs in Kosovo's parliament have been elected women, 33% in the percentage of women ministers in the government. In less than 15 years of our independence, Kosovo has elected 2 women presidents, and the citizens of Kosovo made a woman the most voted person in the history of the country recorded. Today I stand in front of you representing my people while serving as their president, which in most honesty is the honor of my life. However, the journey has not always been an easy one. There have been plenty of people, obviously men, that told me that politics wasn't a woman's job. I was told that I would never make it, and that was mainly driven by the fact that I was a woman. But there are three things that keep you going: determination, courage, as well as commitment. One must be persistent. One must dare to challenge and stand up for herself as well as for every other woman and girl. And one must be passionate about what they do. It is not always easy to not lose focus, but it becomes way easier when the goal is clear. And when the goal is to empower women and girls, there is nothing, there's no challenge that can stand on your way. As you all know, Kofi Annan once said, "Study after study has taught us that there is no tool for development more effective than the empowerment of women. No other policy is as powerful in increasing the chances of education for the next generation than the empowerment of women." And I'd like to just add to that, that no other policy is as powerful in increasing our chances for a better, more just, and more prosperous societies than the empowerment of women. As a country that shares a painful past and has risen from the ashes of the war to turn into one of the most democratic countries in the region, I want to not only share our successful story with the world, but also to appeal to everyone in this room and beyond to actively engage for greater and a more equal representation of women. We need action, and we need it now, because there is a persistent gap standing between words and deeds. This is a common global challenge, and as much as it must turn into our priority commitment and our hourly commitment, it continues to be a huge problem. Understanding the paramount importance of equality in representation and governance, we have placed women empowerment as one of the top 3 priorities as part of our commitments, the commitments of the Republic of Kosovo for the Summit for Democracy organized by President Biden. In line with our commitment to bolster the role of women in our society, we are working to also amend relevant legislation to align them all with the law on gender equality to ensure equal representation of women at policymaking and governance levels. And in this very same spirit, we are going to organize the first edition of the Forum on Women, Peace and Security, which will be held in Pristina this October. While this forum will be a great opportunity for us all to measure the progress we collectively marked in terms of implementing the WPS agenda, it is also a forum to best showcase the stories of women champions and everyday advocates of women empowerment across all areas of life, from Kosovo as well as around the world. It must be clear to everyone that women's rights are non-negotiable. Respect for them is at the heart of our collective progress. Therefore, we truly cherish and applaud the contribution of the Summit for Democracy in this regard. Despite the progress achieved over the years, women still face numerous challenges, and the space for their engagement is often limited. I share the view that women's empowerment lies in the full realization of all our fundamental rights. It requires transforming power relations and addressing structural inequalities. It also means enabling women to take ownership of over their lives, their bodies, and destinies. These rights have been enshrined in properly enforced laws. These rights must be breathed and lived. I want to end by saying that we need more women in leadership positions and decision-making bodies. We need more women in all sectors, in politics, economy, and all areas of life, work and public engagement. So I ask all of us to work towards meeting this goal with conviction, because more women in leadership positions means more action towards addressing everyday challenges, more voices standing up for human rights, more resources to foster our economic growth, and more creativity to solve our everyday problems. It means also more space for other women as well. It creates the necessary space for the unheard voices to be heard. Obviously, I can't end without quoting a trailblazer, a global champion for women's rights, the woman who was our voice when we had no voice, the late US Secretary Madeleine Albright. whose legacy will be recognized in the first Forum for Women, Peace and Security that will be organized in Kosovo this fall. Secretary Albright said, "It took me quite a long time to develop a voice. And now that I have one, I am not going to be silent." Dear all, I invite you to use your voice, to never hold back, to stand up for what you believe in and bring along in this journey other women, many other women, as well as men, champions. Thank you.